Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. NFL Combine is over, so it's time to do another mock draft, the second one that I have done here on Bears Now. If you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, probably didn't see 1.0 because, well, we only posted that on our Bears channel, so go check it out and subscribe at youtube.com/Bears Now. This is kind of the news and notes with the Bears for the draft. No first-round pick. The Bears are expected to get a fourth-round comp pick, but that has not come through as of yet. Will the Bears draft a quarterback? That is a question everyone wants to know. These are the five biggest needs. Tight end, offensive line, and cornerback are my top three after Prince Amukamara got released. Obviously, tight end, offensive line, we talked about those positions quite a bit. Edge rush help opposite of Khalil Mack, and then wide receiver. Got rid of Taylor Gabriel. Needs someone to step up and take on that role. All right, let's get into my mock draft. Again, no first-round pick, so we move to round two. Pick number 43, Kenneth Murray. Doesn't fill a major need, but he was by far the best player on the board, so I went ahead and selected him. You plug him next to Roquan Smith, you are good to go at linebacker for the next decade if you choose to do so. Explosive athlete, has great range, sideline-to-sideline linebacker, wants to make every single tackle, every single play, which is what I like about him, relentless pursuit. Again, I chose to go with the best player on the board. Danny Trevathan, Nick Kwiatkowski are free agents. I think Kwiatkowski is going to be back, but if a guy like Kenneth Murray falls in your lap, hey, don't have to bring Kwiatkowski back. Obviously, free agency comes first, but we'll see how that plays out. I opted to go linebacker here. Kenneth Murray is a first-round talent. If you can get him in the middle of the second round, that is really, really good value. Tackles for loss, off the charts. 4 sacks as an interior linebacker. 4 pass breakups. I like Kenneth Murray's game a lot. He can play inside. He can play outside linebacker in a 4-3 scheme, not as much in a 3-4 scheme, which is what the Bears run. But I like his versatility. Excellent tackler. Really, really good pursuit. Was a captain at Oklahoma. Just an outstanding player and an outstanding talent. Question for you, Bears GM. Do you trust him? Ryan Pace. Do you trust Ryan Pace? The Trubisky pick, not looking great. Some other picks in the past, not so much. Big NFL draft for him. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Let me know if you trust Ryan Pace. Kenneth Murray's combine numbers, he was very good. 4.52, it's a good number for a linebacker. Vertical jump, shows the explosiveness at 38 inches. Good broad jump as well. Really strong player also, 21 reps on the bench press of 225 pounds. Here were the other players on the board when I selected Kenneth Murray. J.K. Dobbins, the Ohio State running back. Jalen Reagor, a player we've talked about some. T. Higgins, took him in my last mock draft. Opted to go Kenneth Murray this time. Austin Jackson out of Oklahoma. And then Matt Hennessy, the Temple offensive lineman. What do you guys think is the better draft strategy? Type 1 for best available. Type 2 for fills a need. What do you think the best strategy is? I went best available here. So I think more often than not, I'm typing my 1. Obviously, every round it depends. Depends who's on the board, but I think you can't go wrong if you take the best available player. Now, Bears fans, Chicago natives, St. Patty's Day just around the corner. A week from Saturday, the Chicago River, it's going to be dyed green. Why not get a St. Patrick Bears edition shirt? $19.99, 30% off right now. You won't find a better deal on this t-shirt out there. Go to this link, chatsports.com/bearsgreen. I'll have the link in the comments, have the link in the description. Again, that is chatsports.com/bearsgreen. St. Patty's shirt, celebrate properly. Get a Bears St. Patty's tee at chatsports.com/bearsgreen. Speaking of Jalen Reagor, had to take him. He was sitting there at pick number 50. Explosive athlete, elite game speed. Sure, didn't run great in the 40 at the combine. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. It's not like he ran a 4.7. He ran a 4.47. He's going to be just fine. He was top 2 in both the vertical and the broad jump. Showed off his explosiveness. Bulked up a little bit too much. I think that is what attributed to a little bit slower speed. But you watch him on tape, he's very twitchy, very fast, really explosive player. Gives the Bears a speed option on the outside, which they have not had at his size in quite a while. 5'11". Taylor Gabriel was only 5'7". Production went down a little bit last year, playing with the freshman quarterback. Not super surprising. TCU's passing attack was atrocious the past couple of years, really, which is amazing what he did in 2018. But in 2019, dealing with the freshman, not too surprising. Don't worry about the lack of production. He's still an excellent player. 14 touchdowns last couple of years, and he is good on special teams as well. Here were some other players on the board. J.K. Dobbins still there. I couldn't believe it at pick 50. T. Higgins, I went Reagor over Higgins in this case. I went him over KJ Hamler as well. Ashton Davis, the safety out of Cal, and then Justin Matabuke, the defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. Now pick a receiver because Higgins was there. I took him last time in my mock draft. Type H for T. Higgins, type R for Jalen Reagor. Who would you rather have? I think a lot of it's fit. If you want a physical, big target, T. Higgins is your answer. If you need some speed on your offense, you go Jalen Reagor. I think the Bears need some speed, so I'm typing my R for Jalen Reagor. You can't go wrong here. Higgins, Reagor, go ahead and let me know which receiver you'd rather have. And while you're doing that, go ahead and subscribe to Chicago Bears Now if you haven't already. I know a lot of you have subbed, but if you haven't, let's get to 5,000. Just crossed the 3,600 mark last night. Got to keep this train rolling. Let's get to 5K by the end of March. Hit that big red button. We got the latest rumors. We got some trade targets, all kinds of stuff. I got the full NFL Combine visits video up on the channel if you want to go check that up. We do Q&As almost every single week now, so use hashtag Bears down in the comments section. Just released one the last few days. Probably going to do one again next week. So hashtag Bears. Do videos all off season long and on into the 2020 season. If you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, go to this link, youtube.com/BearsNow. All right, again, no pick until round 5, until that 4th round comp pick comes through as we are all expecting. But the Draft Network doesn't account for that yet. So we're going to the 5th round here on today's draft simulation. Bears mock draft. Harrison Hand, great name, by the way. Great name. Great athleticism as well. He tied Jeff Okudah, the number 1 corner in this draft, for the best vertical in the at the NFL Combine. Below average change of direction quickness, which is a little bit challenging, especially if you want to play nickel corner. A lot of in and out routes, so he's got to get better in that regard. But good zone coverage player, not great in man. His key will be special teams versatility. Day 3 picks, got to be able to play on special teams. Did some at Temple. He's got to continue to do that in the NFL. Playmaker, though, 3 picks last year, 5 pass breakups, forced to fumble. Good tackler, too, 15-9 tackles. It's about his change of direction. That is the biggest challenge for Harrison Hand. These are some of the players on the board. Jordan Elliott, Jabari Zuniga, McTelvin Agim, Tyler Johnson, and David Woodward, the linebacker out of Utah State. I opted to go cornerback with Harrison Hand. Next up here, Jonathan Garvin as we get into round 6. NFL body, 6'4", 250. He has some upside there. He can play right away with that frame. Good against the run. Pass rush needs a little bit more work. Gets pressures, doesn't have a great first step. Has trouble finishing sacks sometimes. That's his biggest problem. More of a 4-3 scheme guy in college. I think he can play in the 3-4 with his run defensive ability that we saw at Miami. So that's good for the Chicago Bears if they can get him on day 3. I think this is good value in round 6. Had 5 sacks last year. I think he can improve as a pass rusher. I think he can get better in that area. A couple of forced fumbles. Again, his biggest problem is getting off the ball sometimes. He's just not as fast in that regard. Jonathan Garvin was my pick at 176. Other players on the board, Isaiah Hodgins, Keyshawn Vaughn, the running back out of Vanderbilt, DJ Wanham, the linebacker out of South Carolina, Lamar Jackson, the corner out of Nebraska. Different Lamar Jackson. Let's relax. No relation. Not his son, Shewo Olanalua, the running back out of TCU. What is the Bears' biggest need, or bigger need, out of these two? Type E for edge rusher, type CB for cornerback. What is the Bears' bigger need? Let me know down in the comments section. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. Go to this link, chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code NFL120 to get that 120% deposit bonus. The XFL, NBA is going on, MLB spring training. You can bet on it all. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120. Lynn Bowden Jr., I almost said Bowden, it's a bad habit. Lynn Bowden is his name. Versatile athlete, played quarterback in 2019 because Kentucky lost like 3 of them early in the year. Team first guy, they asked him to play quarterback, said okay, let him do a bowl game, really did a good job. But it did limit his development as a receiver, needs to polish his route running a little bit. I think he can contribute right away as a gadget player and a special teams guy, and then hopefully he develops into a receiver, a true receiver down the road. Again, he played quarterback. Look at this production. They basically just snapped him the ball and told him to run. Well, it worked pretty well. 1,500 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns. I'd say that's pretty effective. Terrific athlete, good speed, good quickness. He made it work. Still had some receiving numbers last year before he was forced to play quarterback. 348 yards and a touchdown. I think he would have had a 1,000-yard season had he not been asked to switch positions. But again, good locker room guy, good team first guy. I am impressed with Lynn Bowden Jr. out of Kentucky. I think if you can get him at this point in the draft, that is very good value. These are the players on the board. Keyshawn Vaughn was still there. Wanham was there. Alana Lewis still there. Lamar Jackson still there. Again, these picks very close together. Tyree Cleveland, the wide receiver out of Florida who has some upside, he was on the board as well. I went with Lynn Bowden Jr., the versatile player out of Kentucky. Who is your favorite prospect in the 2020 NFL Draft? Bowden's a fun one. I wouldn't say he's my favorite prospect, but he is certainly a fun one to watch. Good player. Locker room guy. You like everything about the kid. I still am going to go Chase Young. I just think he's such a relentless player and a unique talent. But let me know, who's your favorite prospect in this year's draft? This is another likable kid, James Lynch, culture guy. If you can get this guy in round 7, that is terrific value. The problem is he's a bit of a tweener as a player. He's not really big enough to be a defensive tackle, not a good enough athlete to be a true defensive end, but I think you can rotate him in. He can be a versatile yet under-athletic defensive lineman, if that makes sense. Great locker room guy, captain, super productive at Baylor, helped that program turn that culture around under Matt Rule. Wouldn't be shocked if Carolina drafted him, quite frankly. I think he'd be a steal in round 7. I was shocked he was still on the board. You see the production, almost 20 tackles for loss, 13.5 sacks, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, tackles, made a ton of plays for Baylor this past year. I think he's going to go higher than round 7, but in this simulation he was there and I had to take him. Some other guys on the board, Michael Divinity Jr. out of LSU, Jawan Jennings, who ran a terrible 40 at the NFL Combine, Neville Clark, Darius Anderson, and Benjamin Victor, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Want to remind you guys, St. Patty's Day just around the corner. You see the Bears green St. Patrick's Day shirt. Celebrate on the Chicago River. It's going to be green. You don't want to be the guy not wearing a green shirt. Someone's going to pinch you. So go to chatsports.com/BearsGreen. Get this shirt, just $19.99. All right, offensive line. I know you guys are like, oh, we're the offensive linemen. Well, when you do these mock drafts, they're just not, sometimes they don't fall to you. They're like, the closest one is 40 prospects away. I'm not going to reach for an offensive lineman. But you got Darrell Williams here, 38 career starts, made some starts at center, made some starts at guard. You're hoping an offensive lineman in the 6th or 7th round becomes a rotation guy, right? I mean, I think his ability to play center will give him a chance to stick in the NFL. Can he be like a Joe Looney type? If you're not familiar with him, player with the Cowboys, he can play center, he can play guard. That's what you're hoping with a guy like Darrell Williams. Some of the other players on the board, Victor, Jennings, Anderson still on the board, Cameron Curl, and then Reggie Robinson, the cornerback out of Tulsa. I opted to go offensive line here to try and get at least a little bit of depth, if nothing more than a camp body for 2020. All right, so there it is. Grade my 7-round mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. I give myself a solid B, B+. I would have liked to address either offensive line or tight end earlier, but you guys know me. I want to go tight end in free agency. That's the route I want to go. I would have liked to get an offensive lineman with the 2nd-round pick, but it just didn't fall the way I wanted it to. So I'll give myself a B+. Thought it was a solid crop overall. Just to recap it, here were the picks I made. Kenneth Murray, Jalen Reagor, and those 2nd-round picks. Harrison Hand, the corner out of Temple, great first name. Jonathan Garvin, the edge rusher out of Miami. And then to wrap things up, Lynn Bowden Jr., James Lynch, Darrell Williams. That is mock draft 2.0 for the Chicago Bears. I'm sure we'll have 3.0 very, very soon.